Okay, Amber, it is our first evening live in a really long time. How are you, my friend? Are we tired after a crazy day today, or are we going to be okay for this live stream?
I think we're okay for this live stream. It's always good to see you. You energize me. It's a
Well,
fun
I
day.
try.
It
You
gets
know
a
me. I
little
try to be
tasty for
the
a little bit.
ever-present cheerleader. That's my job. That's what I'm here to do. What's funny is like I think people are really there's a flying hair. I think people are really getting excited about the fact that we're leaning into the evening hours. I know a lot of people are at work and they can't watch us during the day and they wish they could. They want to be live. So I'm really excited that we're doing more evenings. We're going to try to focus on Thursday nights for right now. So if you guys are avid watchers or you guys are, people who are tuning into us often, please know that Thursday nights is going to be our goal for now. And we're just going to see how this goes. I do love when we have people here live. So I just want to say hello. My name's Laci. Amber Coleman is here with us as well. I've got a little shadow action on
Okay.
Amber Coleman. So Amber is one of the top, one of the highest ranked top, I don't want to use all these numbers again because you always get embarrassed, but top lenders or loan originators in Las Vegas. I am an amazing realtor, but also a lifestyle expert. And we do these live streams as often as possible to just really be there for you to so you can ask questions and we can give you guys answers. So this is for you. So if you're here live, let us know, drop it like it's hot in the comment box below. We're really excited about the fact that we're doing this. And, at the end of the day, if you want to work with us or you're thinking about moving to Vegas, even if it's like 10 years from now and you're just dreaming a little dream, there's a phone number down at the bottom of the screen, or there is a link in the description of every video that we do. Click that link, you go straight to my calendar. You can fill that out and let's schedule a time to talk. I actually really like talking to people who are very early in their planning stages. So how about you, Amber? How's your week been? How's it been for you?
It's been good. It feels like kind of a calm, chill week. I don't has it kind of been like that for you too? Just a little bit chill because like the world
Yeah.
went crazy for a little bit.
Yeah, on a work front, it's been actually a little bit busy. I'm getting back into the swing of things, back to the office this week after some stuff that with our family last week. So just really kind of focused on getting back into it. I've had a lot of people reach out to me to do phone calls this week, lead calls, the ones that I was just talking about.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were actually looking forward to today's live. Like I had like 4 people this week alone that were like, can't wait for your WTF live on Thursday. This is going to be so good. So hello, if you're watching, if I've talked to you this week, let me know. And so, yeah, it's been a good week. I think there's this weird energy in the air that feels like everyone's waiting to see what happens when the Fed has their next meeting, which is is it May, Amber? Is that when it is?
It's in May, but is it when the Fed has their next meeting or what's happening in general? Because there just seems like a lot going on.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot going on. We know the tariffs and all the conversations about, just cost of living and all of that is definitely present. But I think from my conversations, a lot of people are just kind of anticipating when are the rates going to drop? So I was going to ask you, that's such a weird thing to me because I don't even know what the rates are at any given moment in time because I'm not a lender and I'm not looking at it daily. So how is it that so many people are on the sidelines waiting for the rates to drop when they don't even know what the rates are today? And Amber, how have the rates been doing in the last 4 or 5 months? I mean, I heard that they might be already dropping. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, so when we're talking about the rates dropping, so we got to look and see like where are you waiting for them to drop to,
Yeah,
right? So like last year they were in like the sevens. At some point they hit eights,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then they've been they were on a steady incline upward for a while, right? But then they started like inclining downward. So this year we're already seeing that throughout from January to right now, even though we've had like a bumpy ride. So like a couple weeks ago, we had a really good Thursday and Friday when the stock market didn't have such a good Thursday and
Yeah.
Friday, but it was good for the bond market. And then last week it was horrible for the bond market. Then this week it's been kind of a little bit chill. Like so when I'm talking about like this week's been a little bit more chill, it's because the rates aren't going so crazy, right? But if I look at the trend in rates, this year it's trending downward. They don't go downward in a straight fashion and they
Right.
always go up faster than they go down. But if you look at rates from last year at this time to this year at this time, we're significantly down from
Right.
where that was. So when people say they're waiting for rates to drop, define what rate drop is because sometimes I've talked to people and they said, well, I'm waiting for rates to drop in the threes. So
Right.
then we have to remember that the threes happened after the downturn of the economy
Yeah.
and then into COVID. That happened only because our economy went through some major stuff
Right.
and they re-stimulated through the housing market, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, I
for
think
waiting,
people waiting for threes, it's like waiting. That's not, I don't think that's going to be happening. I really just don't think that's a pipe dream, or is that what that's
yeah,
called?
like exactly. And what I think is that 5 is the new 3,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like what you're waiting for, like so like so kind of define what it is when you're waiting for rates to drop, because then too, when rates go low, then the prices go high.
Yeah, let's talk
So
about that a little bit. I actually got a really cool report from one of our title companies,
mhm,
Misty Tiffany over at Chicago Title. Thank you, Misty, for always hooking us up.
she's
She
amazing.
gave me something that showed the median resale price appreciation year over year. The red bars on the screen are condos and townhouses, and the single family homes are in yellow. And what I like about this graph is that it kind of mimics exactly what you're talking about, and that we say all the time on this channel. It mainly is just like, if you're waiting to buy, let me go back to us real quick and then we'll go back. If you're waiting for the rates to drop, the prices are going to go crazy. So that's not a good thing to be focused on. And actually, I want to just plug really quickly. Next Wednesday night, it's already on my channel. You can go and register for it. I'm going to be talking in depth about this exact subject, the cost of waiting to buy, because it's actually really gross and kind of a shock when you actually realize it. Amber and I talked about it a few months back. I'm going to talk about it again, but let's go back to this so you can see this again. When the rates drop, let's look back, Amber. Let's look at October. You see that big spike over there with the condos and townhouses that went super high, and then also January
Well,
October went lower for single family. Talk to me about what this tells you.
yeah, look at those spikes right there. So in the red, where it's the condo townhouses, because that's more like first time home buyer range, right?
Lower price point, correct?
So in the summer, rates went crazy. August, look at that.
Yeah.
Rates were going crazy. And then they started
Crazy
to
meaning up,
drop.
right? The rates were going rates were going crazy
They,
up because of all
yeah,
the
they were going up. And then in September, we had this beautiful time period where
yeah,
we had this decline in rates. It was steady decline. And we had like a 2-week time period where we were in the fives. And look at what happened. At
yeah,
one point in time, it hit the fives. And you know what? It was like a 2-week time period,
yeah,
literally. And so then people were off the fence and then closing in September, but sometimes it takes 30 to 45 days to close, right? So they're writing contracts and then closing into October. So
So
the
what
2-week beautifulness was in September, and then the 30-day to close would be in October.
right.
So look at how pretty those months were because of the rates.
So
That's
that's the
perfect what we were talking about.
appreciation, meaning the price. So what that tells you is waiting, that's how much the costs went up for the homes. That's how much appreciation there was. So that's a big component to the cost of waiting to buy. You waiting to buy for the rates to drop below a 5 is, I think, silly at this point in time. But even if you are, let's say 2.5, if you're waiting for 5, that's what it's going to look like. You're going to wait for that 5, but that percentage doesn't make as much of a difference as how much the prices and the appreciation are going up. So it's really kind of the story that we tell all the time, Amber. We're constantly talking
Mhm.
about how inventory in Vegas has been kind of low for a while. Low meaning less than 6 months worth of inventory.
Mhm.
We've been in the 2 month, 3 month range. It's it varies. We're starting to see a little bit more inventory hit the market right now because everyone's gearing up for the spring buying season. Spring and
Mhm.
summer are huge in Las Vegas and all over the map, really, because it's a nice time to go shopping for a house, and school is out, right? People who want to
Mhm.
buy a house and relocate are going to shop towards the end of spring and beginning of summer so they can get into their home and be ready to go for when school starts, right? So for us, we keep trying to tell people there's juicy, crunchy times to buy houses. Watching the rates like a hawk is nice and great, and that's a fun hobby to have. But the reality of the situation is like, when you wait 1 minute too long, the prices will go up and you will have that much more competition on the market for people who are trying to get that same dang house that you are. So we're just,
Mhm.
again, it's never a pressure game for us, but we always just want to make sure you understand the cost of waiting is a real thing. So again, next Wednesday night, I'm going to be going live right here on this channel. Please register for it. Please join me. We're going to do the math of it. It's going to be great. And then, well, I'm going to be doing the math of it and it's going to be great. And then
Look
Amber and I
at
will go
you.
live the next day and we'll be talking about some other stuff. Can I jump in and talk about the price ranges and the update for this month? Amber, are you good with that?
I love it when you pull up that stuff. Let's pull
All
up
right.
all those fun little reports.
All right, so let me remove this guy. All right, so right now we are looking, let me get rid of this banner because it is always blocking stuff and I need people to see. So right now we are looking at, we always in real estate look back 1 month, right? We can never look forward, although we do have a pretty strong crystal ball and my psychic abilities are pretty good and so are Amber's, but this is where it's at for March 2025. Now, I think I have January's in here as well. I'll pull up the previous month in just a minute. But what I want you to take a look at is the blue is single family homes. The gold color is going to be condos or townhouses. So as we mentioned before, condos and townhouses are going to be a little bit lower of a price point. Those are a little bit more approachable for new first-time buyers or people with a lower budget. And then obviously the price on top is kind of where it's at when it comes to single family units, and it's really been there for a few months. I'm going to switch over right now to February, which is the month prior. Not too much of a change as far as that goes, because right now we're in that juicy, crunchy time we talk about where you can still kind of get a deal. Prices aren't crazy, going out of control, all that. I can guarantee you, you will see a lift in the median home price, which is that first column on the left, for both the single family units as well as condos. In 2 months, you will absolutely see a lift. And if you don't, I mean, maybe I just need to quit this job. I don't know. Anyway, you definitely will. I want to do a comparison to last year just to show you that last year was a crazy year for us because it was an election year and the rates were all over the place. And it was actually very unstable for us as in our, professions as realtors and lenders. It was a low end of the year, was a very low year from a buying perspective. Not as many people were buying, but look at the price difference. This is May 2024. This is not about a year ago, almost a year ago. May 2024, we were at 473 for the median home price for single family units and 295 for condos. So even in a low, crazy year, a year that did not have a lot of buyers, the end of the year was kind of wacky with all the stuff going on. Even with that stuff going on, it was still a major difference between now and then. So that's May, and this is March. From 473 median home price to 485, and from, let's put it back, from 295 for condos to now 306, 307. So those are, I just want to highlight, guys, that, a lot of people who are waiting are that's fine. You can wait for whatever reason you want to wait, but waiting is going to cost you in the long run. And the higher these prices go and the more limited availability we have and the more people on the market, it's going to be harder and harder to get you a deal and harder to negotiate anything beyond maybe you even having to pay more than what the house is worth.
Yeah, look at too the difference in the availability too.
Yeah, so right now in March, we've got looking at the top, 2.5 months worth of availability. That's last year, this time, that 1 year ago, that is a 58% increase from last year. So last year we had almost no listings in March, and we were selling houses like hotcakes because the rates were kind of in a good place in the early part of the year. Now, if I go to a year prior, this is May now, so we're going to go a few months later, we still had super low inventory, which is what drove those prices up.
So it looks like, right, I mean, like, as far as the low, like the inventory right now, based off of where it was last year, maybe there's a little bit more concessions when you go
right now. Yeah. But I'm telling you, even though we're seeing a lift in the inventory on the market right now, Amber, I'm seeing a lift because I know that people know what's coming, right? People are coming from LA. Fires are driving people here.
Yeah.
People just in general for tax purposes or whatever. People are migrating to our city. I mean, we've added a million people to this place in about 10 years. 1 million residents, guys. Yeah. It's getting sticky. It's getting warm. We're having a good old time. So people are staying. It's no longer the thing where it's like, oh, people move to Vegas and move away. No, it's getting sticky for a reason. And I just want to make sure you guys know what's what and what to be looking at. So some really good stats. I really like the information that we get from her. Thanks again to Misty Tiffany for the information.
She's amazing.
If you guys have questions, please drop it in the comments. I'm gonna shoot over to questions here in a minute. But Amber, give me what are you hearing from people? Give me some of the questions people are asking you or the concerns people have when you talk to people, because you and I talk to hundreds of people a month.
Okay, so one client today, he's in contract and he's like, am I buying at the height of, like whatever it is? And so we went back because people are like, there's things that I see on the media, and remember, I kind of keep my blinders on a little bit. I just watch the money, right? But like, there's things that I see that says, oh, we're going to repeat 2008, like I keep seeing that. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah.
And I keep having people ask me about it too. So then today I said, okay, let's break it down for you really fast. So in 2008, before 2008, because I did loans through all of that and through the downturn, which was a horrible time for me. And then after that too. So before happened is that anybody that was breathing could get a loan. right?
Right.
So like you come in to see me and say, hey, I want to buy a loan. I don't have any money. I have a 500 FICO score, whatever. You could get a loan because there was literally loans for everybody. You didn't have to qualify for them. Oh, look at cute
Sorry,
guys.
background joined us.
But, and then after 2008, because everything, and then not only that, if people wanted 3 houses and they didn't have any money, didn't have any credit score, they could get it. There was no regulations on anything. The government had opened all kinds of programs like that. And
Right.
then everything happened in one little tick because people couldn't afford their houses and everybody was in trouble. Plus, we were on 2-year, 3-year arms instead of 30-year fixed, right? So
Right.
then TRID happened, and then TRID happened, and then all these regulations came in place, which didn't allow banks to foreclose like they did. And us as lenders, we are held by so many high standards that we have to actually qualify every single person and third party verify employment and everything else. So now, fast forward all those years later, now when people run into problems with, because he was asking too, like, what about foreclosures? Well, foreclosures were at 0 for a while. So if there's a bump in foreclosures, I'm not really worried about that because there's probably going to be a little bit of a bump in
Right.
foreclosures.
Well,
But
with
like
the cost of living going up and stuff, that's definitely, some of those things are playing into that. But there's so much equity, you know?
yeah, there's equity, and then banks are working with people just like through COVID to help keep people into houses. So
Right.
you're not going to see that happen again because the regulations again are in place. So when people say it's going to be like that, I'm like,
Yeah.
and plus, have you looked at Vegas lately?
Yeah.
like, just bordering California. And not only that, like when you just pulled up the inventory, when the crash happened, we were at like 20,000 houses.
Right. Yeah.
So like,
It's a healthy market when we have about 6 months worth of inventory, 5 to 6 to 7 months of inventory. That's when there's enough houses. There's enough houses for you to be able to shop. There's also not too many houses to where they're all just sitting there, right? It's kind of in that little
yeah,
equalized space. This summer, I'm very interested to see how fast that inventory is sucked up, and if we get ourselves into a situation like we did during COVID, where people were pulling out mattress money to like
yeah,
outbid each other. There were 40, 50 people trying to buy every single house. So it's very
yeah,
interesting to me to see all of this. Some of the questions I've been hearing, and I've had a lot of calls this last couple of weeks, which
yeah,
again tells me it's about to ramp up again. A lot of
yeah.
people, the same thing. Oh, we're waiting for the rates to drop. And I have the same conversation all the time saying, please don't wait. And that's another reason why I'm constantly saying, please call us now. There's a phone number scrolling. There's a link in my description of every video. Getting in touch with us now and early before you're even ready to buy is so smart, because we will have all the pre-work kind of out of the way. And then it's just like the nitty gritty stuff that we jump you into when it's time to get things moving. We want to start to build that relationship sooner rather than later. So we're not starting and jumping right into the shopping experience. That's not fun. We want it to be fun,
Yeah.
So some of the questions people have been asking me or saying to me, things they're saying are like, they're almost wishful thinking that there's going to be, come here, he's trying to open the door, wishful thinking that there's going to be a crash. So I'm like, why are we wishing for that? That's not good, but it's because everybody wants a deal. There's a lot of people saying that they want to wait for the rates to drop. They're asking if the rates are going to drop. More and more people are actually asking my opinion as to whether they should rent first instead of and then buy in a year. That is a common question for a lot of people. I'm going to be doing a full video about that and some options that you have when you do relocate, because we do work with 99% relocation clientele, like I do. And so that's a common question. And that question links to another thing that what we've been talking about and what I'm talking about next week, which is waiting. It is never a good idea if you don't have to wait. If you have to wait, or you just feel like that's the right move for you, great. But please know what you're risking in doing that. So mostly those are the things. It's like, should I rent first? Which is, I feel honored that people are asking my opinion. That's amazing. Should I rent first? Do you think the rates are going to drop? I think I'm going to wait, and and just so on. So it's very interesting. It's like we both feel these waves, and we start to see it's very seasonal, and every year the season shifts by a month front or back, but it's always the same. So we definitely know what we're talking about.
I know. And you know what else I feel like too right now? There's so much news about the tariffs, which rightfully so, right? But there's so much going on. And it's like some people are like in this fear place
Yeah.
because of the tariffs. But I'm like, it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
By the time 3 weeks happens, people get tired of hearing about it and they go back to life.
Yeah.
And we need houses to live in. And now that the kids are coming out of school. So like half of me feels like everybody's going to come off the fence all at once when they start finally getting tired of hearing about tariffs or whatever. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, what about my life?
Yeah, I'm not doing any vacations this summer. I'm literally, I'm battening down the hatches, and I'm going to hold on to my wig because I have a feeling, I don't have a wig, but you know, if I did, I'd hold on to my hair. So I have a feeling we're going to be crazy, crazy busy. Let's jump over to the questions and see what everybody's asking. If you are watching this for the first time or you're tuning in for the first time, hi, I'm Laci. This is Amber. We are super excited that you're here. Please just say hi to us in the comments. We'll shout you out. And if you guys are enjoying what we're doing here, obviously subscribe and do all the things that all those YouTuber people ask you to do, but more so than ever, send this to a friend. If you've got friends that are looking to buy or family members that you think would be educated by what we're talking about, we would love for you to share that with them. Okay, and drop it like it's hot in the comment box. This is for you. Neil Warren says, hello, good evening from the Pacific Ocean. Neil, love you, Neil. My allergies are kicking in, Neil. How are your allergies out there? Hey, Neil. Okay. Oh, Mark Gray. Hey, from Tampa. Hey, Mark. How you doing? Leolo says, I just popped in. What do you think of the current condo market? I'm wondering how it is, especially in Centennial Hills. Leolo, great question. Amber, how many condos have you been financing lately? Have you seen a lift in that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because you mean within the last year?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of condos and a lot of townhouses.
Yep.
So it seems like those are really popular right now.
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about financing on the condos?
Yeah, let's talk about it. I think that was my next question. So you beat me.
Oh,
and I'm
good.
blow my nose for a minute. Thank you to my allergies. It's fun.
Oh, dang it. Your allergies get you every time this year. So with a condo, what happens is you own what's inside the walls. The outside walls, the roof, the land is all owned by the HOA. So we end up qualifying the HOA just as much as we do you. So there's a little bit of differences in financing on condos than there is on townhouses. There's a little bit more upfront, heavy lifting up front. But I've seen more, but I have an amazing condo team, like flat amazing. So I've seen more and more condos being moved, condos being approved FHA, that kind of thing than I have lately than I did before. Yep. So condo developments are starting to work a little bit easier to get people in.
And when the rates go up, obviously your budget to purchase can shrink a bit with that. Mm-hmm. Obviously it eats up, your margin or your amount, your budget to buy. Sorry, my brain's not working. So obviously that's why we were seeing a lift as well. I'm also just seeing a lot of people just wanting to get in on the market because they see what's happening and they're very aware of the growth. So in any fashion, in any way. So the market's actually been pretty good and pretty strong. And it shows, if I go right back to this, if I go back to this right here, it's definitely showing because we are up 8.5% in the condo median home price year over year. So up until a couple of months ago, we were still in the high 200s. We've now broken into 300 for the median price point for condos and townhomes as of last month, and it's up 8.5% year over year. And so anyway, next week when I do the live stream talking about cost of waiting, I'm going to go very deep on kind of not only the explanation month over month, what we're seeing, but the appreciation and how that really does make a difference. So good question. Thank you so much for that. Thanks, Leolo. All right, how do I get out of here? Okay. Ooh, I love that I'm the operator of this thing and I'm not very good at it. Okay.
You're actually really good.
Hey there, me and Dee will be there in the beginning of July. Let's catch up. Would love to, Quentin. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Neil Warren says the 3% interest rates and below is one of the reasons we had inflation problems. Definitely a contributor for sure. All right, Leolo says single family home seems priced out of reach for me at this point, and condos are good value. Are they a good value play? Just applied for a job in Vegas. Condos are more approachable for a newbie. Exactly what I was saying, Leolo. First of all, love that you always join us for the live streams or what you do when you can, and that you're so active in the comments. Thank you for that. I think it's getting in the market in any way is always a good play. You don't have to have a single family home to build appreciation and to build your, the wealth that you need to do through real estate. As you can see, we're up 8% year over year. We're continuing to climb. So if you can just get your foot in the door, start with that, and then utilize that to build your portfolio even further as over time. What do you think, Amber?
I love it. Everything you said. Plus, the thing I love about condos too is there's no maintenance.
That's true.
You pretty much take care of what's inside, huh?
And they have amenities.
Yeah, they have cool amenities, and there's no maintenance. So you're pretty much taking care of what's inside. And honestly, the utilities and stuff are a little cheaper too, usually. So
yeah, absolutely. Maximino says, hi guys. Hey. Thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Is it Ruby 2? Oh, cute. My partner and I are trying to get back to Vegas, left in 2020 to move to Michigan. And it seems like no matter what we do, we're never going to be able to buy. Oh, Ruby, don't say that. I love you.
Aw.
There's always an opportunity. We believe in the hope of home ownership, right, Amber? That's our mantra every day.
Yes, let's talk numbers and figure it out, girl. We got this.
Ruby, I promise you when I tell you, we have worked with people for 3, 4, and 5 years before they were able to buy. And we loved every minute of it because we got to be a part of that progress and that journey. Please click the link or just text that number. Let's set you up with a phone call with me. Let's just talk. I don't care if it's 10 years away. I mean that. I promise. Let's talk. She says, we plan to pay off debt before we get back out there, but are there any tips you have for us to prepare? Amber, what would you say is a good tip for somebody to prepare to buy a home if they're about to pay off their debt and they're making this big move back to Vegas? What's the first thing you'd say?
Well, I mean, typically what I like to have a conversation so I can pull everything up and then just kind of see what debts there are. That way we can try to help give you a game plan on what's best to start with. So that way you're not paying off the wrong thing. Because when you're looking at debts, when we're doing mortgage loans, we're looking at what your minimum payments are. Right. So sometimes people think like, oh, I'm going to pay this one off, but the minimum payment base might be super low. So like it might be different debts to get your debt ratio down than what you think, or there might be different tricks to be able to get your credit up than what you think. So I say let's talk and kind of work a game plan for you, and then I'll just help you through that game plan.
Yeah, so the way it works is if you click the link in our description or text that number, we're going to get you straight to my calendar. You make an appointment. You start with me. We dream a little dream. I get the full story so I can understand kind of where we are. And then I get you introduced to Amber. You guys get to talk. You can start to put together the actual numbers. I always tell people she does the hard part. I do the fun part. And that's how we're going to keep it for a long time. But what I like about what we do is, that game plan. I learned early in my career, thanks to Amber teaching me this and showcasing this to me, that paying off all your debt is not always the best thing for you to do. Having a little bit of debt actually helps in some ways. And the way that people look at their credit through Credit Karma and on their own versus how Amber and a lender would look at it are very different. So before you go paying off that debt, please, 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 let's talk. Please. I love that. Love it. Good question. Amber, how long should residency in Vegas and work history be established in order to get more favorable rates and or to try to facilitate a better chance of loan approval? Dude, bring in the heat with these questions.
Dude, you're asking some good questions. I love it. Okay, so residency, so if you have a job offer, so if you're coming to Vegas and you already have a job, so a company is giving you an offer letter that says we're going to hire you on full-time at this rate, all of that stuff, right? And on this date, we can close a loan with that job offer letter. So you don't have to be here at any period of time.
We do it all the time. We do it all the time.
We do it all the time. Remember, most of Laci's business is like
relocation.
Yeah. So, but the only time that you're held to like living in the state for a particular amount of time is if you're doing some type of grant that requires that. So all other loan programs, you can move with a job offer letter. And then we prove that you have your income either right before closing or we get it right after closing. So depending on the type of loan that you're doing. So don't let the time here hurt you.
I love that. Neil Warren says, because of COVID restrictions and keeping people in their houses, I had read somewhere that FHA only did 9 foreclosures nationwide in 2024. What? That's crazy. I would love to find out if that's true. I mean, we've definitely seen a lift across the nation in most markets. So with equity in their homes, selling would make more sense than foreclosing, I'm assuming. So that, we should find out.
Yeah, it was, I mean, pretty much like people that, Neil, I love how you do all the research, by the way. I love it.
From the Pacific Ocean. From the Pacific.
Yeah, I hadn't read that 9, but I know that banks, like if anybody calls and says that I've closed a loan for that they've had problems in them, they have problems or losing their job, this, and that, then we'll send them to the servicing department to ask for a forbearance on it. Yep. So when banks are helping you like that, you there's not really much foreclosures happening unless you're just completely like, I'm done, you know? I'm walking away, leaving my equity and everything.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good questions, everyone. Janice Farmer. Hey, Janice, we love you. Thank you for joining us today. She's an amazing client that we've helped a couple times. Let's see. STL says excess supply with no buyers means recession is coming. That is true. However, we don't have excess supply and we have more buyers than we can deal with. So not here in Vegas. At least that's not what we're seeing. But if you have more information than I do, please let me know. And feel free to reach out. Trinidad Contreras says, hi, Amber. Hi, Laci. My wife Angie's looking forward to having wine with you in May. We want to discuss some neighborhoods. Would love to do that. Thank you.
Exciting.
Text us, text me at that number or fill out the form. Let's set up a call before your trip so that we can plan it and make sure that I'm going to be available. That's amazing. And of course, Amber too. Amber's going to be the pourer of the wine. I drink the wine that Amber doesn't drink. That's how this works here. That's our friendship. Alan J says, hey ladies, I'm moving out there earlier than planned. Be there in June. Nice. That's awesome. House will be ready by August. Your team is great and very helpful. Alan, thank you so much. We love you. Reach out to me. I'd love to just check in and see how things are going. Thank you so much for that update. That's amazing. Sin City Syndicate, Laci is my future beautiful wife. Thank you, Sin City. I'm waiting for that ring. So, Amber, this has been really helpful. Again, I'm just going to pull up some of the numbers again so you guys can take one more look. We are seeing a little bit of a lift in the number of availability for homes. So as of March, we were at 2.5 months. Again, a very balanced market is between 5 to 6 months. So we're still below what we really need. Let me look at what we have as of right this second, like right in this moment right now. We have 6,446 homes available for sale. That's condos as well as single family homes. So we're up a little bit, about 1,000 homes. We're still not in a place where we have too many homes. So I just want to reiterate that to you guys. And then 2,200, about 4 months worth for condos. We always have more condos on the market than we do single family homes. It's just more inventory. So if you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about just like, again, we're never a pressure cooker. We're never going to say, you better hurry up. We do just want to give you a one-to-one evaluation of what your situation looks like so that we can kind of tell you what's what, and you can, know what the risk is with waiting and just know what the market looks like and just start building that friendship. What do you think, Amber?
I think so. Like, here's what I think when I see, because some people will look at that and say, oh, the it's up, it's up, it's up. But we're not looking at the full picture here. It's up to more of a healthy market. It's been so unhealthy for so long that actually gives me like excitement that, you can go in right now and ask for concessions, because there's so many times that sellers weren't even giving anything. Just a couple months ago, we were to the point where when we walked into the new year, everybody was out there buying at the same time, and sellers like, no, I'm not giving you anything. You could buy the house at this. So like, when you see stuff like that, it's more of a healthy market, but it's definitely not close to anything that's scary. No. Not even close. No. Not even close.
This is a really good question. I think I'll probably end on this one today. Mr. Premium of the Option. Nice name. I'm looking to sell. What percentage should I pay? I heard I don't have to pay the buyer's agent. Oh, this is juicy. I'm so glad you asked this question. Really, really good information. However, good question, pardon me. The information that you have is a little skewed, so I would love to answer that if that's okay. The reality of the situation is everything is negotiable when it comes to a real estate deal. Everything. What you pay the selling agent, what you pay the listing agent, what you pay the buyer agent, what you pay the listing agent, what you give for repairs, what you sell the house for, everything's negotiable. The thing you have to remember is that the market is going to dictate who pays for what and how much negotiability there is. So it's always been that way, that you as the seller don't have to pay for what you don't want to pay for. You get what you pay for, though. And so I'm just going to be very open and say it's about negotiating and getting what you pay for. So you should absolutely be looking to hire an agent who is bringing the heat when it comes to marketing and all the things that are going to support your listing to get it out the door and negotiate, and their ability to negotiate with the buyers in a strong fashion to protect your interests and your equity. At the end of the day, it's all negotiable. So you've never had to pay. So no, of course, sellers don't have to pay. But if you don't pay a buyer's agent, guess what? The buyers are likely not going to be wanting to write an offer on your house because they now have to come out of pocket to do that. And if you're in a market that has a lot of houses available, or you're priced too high or something of that nature, that's not going to it's not marketable. It doesn't make your house very marketable. If the markets shift a little bit and you're now in a position where you have 40 people lined up to buy your house, that's a moment where you can decide whether or not you're going to be paying the buyer's agent, and that's a whole part of the conversation and the negotiation. So it's the laws have changed and all that's changed with this, again, it's always been this way, but all that's changed is disclosure. We just have to tell you up front, hey buyer, you may have to cover our fee. This is what that fee is. If the seller's not willing to do that up front before we look at houses, are you okay with that? If they're okay with it, we start the process and we go forward. The market is always going to dictate what is possible and what is not. The market. Sorry. And then you as the seller, of course, but if you really want to sell it, you got to play with the market. You got to play nicely. So that's kind of how that works. I hope that makes sense. Happy to discuss that with you. And if you're looking to sell your house, I would love to, if it's in Vegas, would love to take a look at it. We do a really great job with our listings, and we have a very high percentage rate on getting you what you want. So let's go. Let's do this. Oh man, we're getting a few more questions. All right, I'm going to make a few more minutes. Do you have a few minutes, Amber? Are we good?
I have a few minutes. Let's do it.
There's some good questions popping in, so let's definitely answer these. These are great. In your market snapshot stats, condos and townhomes are lumped together. Do you have a sense that the average townhome is more expensive than the average condo? Good question. Yeah, I think that the townhomes probably skew that number up a little bit, but there's not as many townhomes available, and that's why they lump them together. And they have different rules and ownership. Like Amber was saying, you only own what's in the walls. Townhomes are a little different. Amber, will you talk about how they work? Townhomes?
So townhouses, you actually own the land that they sit on. A lot of times you own the roof too and the walls. So like, I sometimes they're like when I'm looking at people that are doing loans that are looking at condos and townhouses, it's flipped because some of the condos have higher HOAs. So even though the price might be lower, your overall payment might be the same because the HOA is a little bit higher than the townhouse. So you have to kind of look at the whole payment and what you qualify for with that whole payment.
Absolutely. I do think that townhomes skew a little bit higher just because of that fact that you own the land. I think I would say, I don't even know a percentage, honestly, but I would say most of the condos that I'm seeing right now are in the mid to high twos, low threes, but townhomes are skewing a little bit over the threes, which is then what brings that median down to the 306 that we looked at. Good question. Neil says, I go home next week. I'll shoot you a text. Maybe we can get together for a cup of coffee or margarita. Hell yes. You are like one of our best people who watch these live streams. Please shoot me a text. I would love to get to know you and say hi in person. Thank you for that. Okay, here's another really good question. What are your thoughts on investing in single family homes in North Las Vegas? Woo! I have an opinion. What are your thoughts on North Las Vegas and the growth it's seeing?
Look, I moved to North Las Vegas in like 1996. It was my first house. Oh gosh, I just aged myself, huh?
But no, you bought your house at 12. It's fine.
I know, but there was like there was nothing out there. Like it had a bad rap. There was nothing out there. And now it's like the fastest growing city in Nevada. It's huge out there, and it's got all amenities, everything. It's I think North Las Vegas is cool. I think the secret's out though, if it's the fastest growing city. Well,
it doesn't help. I did a 2-part series on my channel over the last couple of weeks about how awesome North Las Vegas is. So please, if you can, what is it? BOB or I303. I'm not sure how to say your name. Please go check out on my channel, North Las Vegas Part 1 and Part 2. I would in a heartbeat invest in North Las Vegas. There's some awesome new areas. There's even some older, more like the homes with more character. It is booming. It's literally the fastest growing city in, I believe, is it Southern Nevada or all of Nevada? I'm not sure. And the amenities and stuff that they're putting in, I'm telling you, it's not going to be just Henderson and Summerlin anymore. People are going to start asking about NLV real soon. So go and check out Part 1 and Part 2. I think I did a good job. You let me know in the comments. We'll see. Sin City Syndicate says, if I move to Las Vegas full-time this year, how many years working in Nevada to qualify for FHA?
You don't have to have many years work. So remember your job history that you had prior to moving. We're going to look at 2 years total. It doesn't have to be in Nevada. It could be, United States is easier. If you worked out of the country, it makes it a little bit harder to verify that you've had that job. But if you're moving from another state to Nevada, we're using that past history as part of your 2 years. So you can come to Vegas with a job offer letter in hand or just start working, and you don't have to have any specific time period.
Absolutely. See, that's another misnomer. Everybody thinks you have to be here. You have to be in the same job. We got to keep dispelling those horrible, bad rumors
We
and
do, yeah.
Sin City says buy near Aliante in North Las Vegas. That's a pro tip, and I agree. Aliante is amazing.
That's hilarious.
Amber Tyra says, thank you for helping. Even though I bought in Henderson, I do not regret it. Any recommendations for Nevada first-time home buyers? First of all, great question. Happy that you bought in Henderson. Henderson's amazing. Henderson's like considered one of the safest cities in the U.S. Like one of the top 10 safest cities. And I live in Henderson now. So there's that. Amber, what are your recommendations for Nevada first-time home buyers?
Okay. So Nevada first-time home buyers. So when you're looking at first-time home buying, a lot of people are thinking there's special programs. Those programs, there's tons of them, but they're mostly grants.
Yep.
So it's mostly like getting grant loans to be able to buy houses on them. There's sometimes like when you're looking at conventional, they have lower down payment on conventional. And if you're under a certain income, they have lower rates too. So you could do those too. So yeah, there's a lot of different things to look at. But if you need money, help with money to get into the house, definitely that's where we need to look at the grants, and that's where the sweet spot is for first-time home buyers is grant money.
Yes, a lot of people call me about being a first-time home buyer, and that's the first thing they say. Oh, and I'm a first-time home buyer. First of all, you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer to be able to be a first-time home buyer on paper. It's 3 years. You have to not have owned a home, right? In 3 years.
In 3 years, yep.
And then you're first time again. Secondly, like that doesn't open up as many doors as other things do. So definitely just like let's talk more about that and get more into it. If you buy another house, Syra, I would love for you to work with me as well as Amber. So let's talk. Let's get this thing going. I definitely excited. Yeah, Amber's the best, and I'm super grateful to have you by my side.
Thanks. And thanks for the shout out, Sarah.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for today. We will be back next Thursday night. We haven't planned what we're going to talk about yet, but please just stay with bated breath and join us. I will be going live on the channel, just my channel next Wednesday. So if you want to join me, that is already there waiting for you to log in for and click the little bell. This is amazing. We love, love, love working with you guys. And we love just being able to build the relationship early so that we can be ready to go when the time comes. So please don't wait. Don't wait to buy. If you even just want to run some stuff by me, I'm excited to talk to you. Click the link in the description or text that phone number. We'll get you the link and you can start to book a time with me. Amber, thank you for making time this evening. I know it took away from your family, but I'm grateful.
Oh, no, I'm always happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm super excited to watch you next Wednesday too. I'm going to be on there. I'm going to be on there typing on all these questions for you.
Amber, I might pull you in if I need you, but I've got some stuff brewing here, but thank you.
Love it. Love it.
A really good live, guys. We'll see you next Thursday. Stay tuned. And I guess in the meantime, have a good one. We'll see you next time.